welcome to my channel. This is going to be an episode on theory, and I'm going to take my advice from Guthrie Govan. He calls it in his book Theory Without Tears. I'm trying to make this as painless as possible, knowing what's behind what we are playing. We start out at the very beginning. In our musical system, there's 12 notes before we get to the note that we started on an octave higher. On the guitar, this is really easy to see, because if I start out like on the B string here, and I go up to here, that was 12 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I'm back on the B. So there's a B here and it's a B here. Every fret, from one fret to the next, is a half step in music. And we have 12 different ones before we get to the note that has the same name as the note that we started on, only an octave higher. All your notes up here on the 12th fret are the same, have the same name as your open strings. The same goes for a keyboard. On a piano or an electric piano, electric keyboard, you have black and white keys. 2 black ones, and there's 3 black ones, and there's 2 black ones, and there's 3 black ones. And the white ones in between have the same sequence accordingly. So when you start with a white key on the left of the 2 black ones, that's your C, and you go up all the way past the 2 black ones, past the 3 black ones, you reach a new place where there's 2 black ones, and to the left of that, that's another C. So you have the 2 C's an octave apart, and you can count those keys. It'll be 12 different notes. We'll start out just understanding the major scale. The C major scale is the one where we only play the white notes on the piano. From the one C to the next C, you end up having 7 different notes because you left out 5 black ones. And if you go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, back to C. And to show this on the guitar is a lot more confusing than it is on a keyboard. But it can be done, and we'll start right in. So we'll do this on the B string. The B string is convenient because if I go B, the next one is my C right away. That's the place on the keyboard where there is no black key between 2 white ones, which is something we come back to. It is very important. So I have that C, and I want to go up to the next note. If you go on the keyboard, you have a C, and then you have a black one, and then you have the next white one. So there's 1 half step in between. So we skip this note, and we go from C to D. And the same happens when I go up. I go from the next one, go from D to E. And you see I left out this note and I left out this note. Those were the 2 black notes. So I got C, D, E. That's the beginning of my major scale. C, D, E, D, C. Now we get to a place on the keyboard where there again is no black key between 2 white keys. And that's this spot right here. That means I can go from this note E right up only 1 fret to the next note F, because there's no note in between. C to D was 2 frets. Each fret is called a half step. 2 half steps make a whole step. So C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step, and E to F is a half step. Continuing on, from the F, we have a black key in there again. If you can check it on a keyboard or on the photograph of a keyboard, you'll see there's a black one we leave out, so we go whole step, F to G, and G to A, and A to B. This was where there was 3 black ones on the keyboard. We left out this one, and this one. So now my scale is starting on C, on the B string, first fret on the B string. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And now I'm back where there's no black keys between two white keys, and I go B to C. Only a half step again. So I have, if I call it out in the distances, I have whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And on the guitar, there's tons of ways that you can play this, and learning it going up on one string is really helpful in understanding the whole concept too. So if I go, or you go like this, work out a fingering that you like and try that. So that you know where you have to change position. What we do to make this more universal so we can do it in different keys is we number the notes. Of course, I need to know the names. I also need to know where they are in relationship to C, which is my starting point and my tonic. So I number them. C is 1, 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7. And then I'm back to the octave, which is 1 again, and I start all over. And what I can now break down as a basic formula for a major scale is, it will be whole step, half step between 3 and 4, then again whole step, and the next half step is between 7 and 8. So this is your very basic formula you need to always remember. A major scale is constructed of whole steps and half steps between 3, 4, and 7 and 8. Everything else is a whole step. So let's do this whole thing and start on a different note. We now know the formula. We need to go half step between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. And we know our basic C major scale. We know C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So how about I start on the A string with the note A. I know to get from my 1 to my 2, I have to do a whole step. A being an open string, I skip this one and I go to the second fret. This is my 2. From 2 to 3 is another whole step. From 3 to 4, I know it's gotta be a half step, so I get to this. So this is the beginning of my A major scale. From my 4 to my 5, I need another whole step, so I go from here to here. And that would sound like this. 1 to 5 in A major. Okay, I keep continuing. I was on 5 on the 7th fret. I need to go to the 6. There's another whole step. I need to go to the 7. It's another whole step. And then between 7 and 8, I have my half step again. I come out on the A on the 12th fret on the A string. So this was my A major scale, only played on the A string. It would be a very good idea for you to just write this out in the numbers and in the letters, so that you start to get an overview of what keys we have and how they differ, what notes are in what key. And it will always be the same rule for every major scale. Your half step has to be between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. So let's go on and see how this works when we practice thirds, because that was one of the exercises we've been doing. And thirds was I play a note, I skip a note, and I play the next note. The exercise, I think, was this. right? So I played this note, I skipped this one, and I played the next one. For the reason the way the major scale is structured the way it is, we're going to have different kinds of thirds. Because if I play a note, I skip a note and play the next note, it can be that there's 2 whole steps. Or if I start on this note and I skip this note and play this note, I play 2 to 4. You can see that this distance is different to this distance. And then again, I have this distance and here. In German, we actually say a large third and a small third. In English, it's a major third and a minor third. So if I have a bigger distance, like from 1, which is my C here, 1 to the 3, which is on the 5th fret on the B string right now, you can see I skipped this note, but I have 2 whole steps. That makes it a major third. And I start on the D, I have to do a whole step and then a half step. You can see the distance is smaller. This will make it a minor third. And then I start on E. Now I have the half step first and then the whole step. But this interval, this distance is still a minor third. It's the same as from 2 to 4 as it is for 3 to 5. It's just one time it started with a whole step to a half step, the other one started with a half step to a whole step. So this should start to sound familiar because that is what we practiced. We just went across, we didn't go up on a string. But it's a little bit easier to see for the theory behind it if I just go up on a 1 string. So you saw we had a major third from the 1. We have a minor third from the 2. We have a minor third from the 3. We have a major third from the 4. Another major third from the 5. A minor third from the 6. And a minor third from the 7. And I'm back to 1. So those were my thirds. And this order that they came in, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, is also going to be the same in every major scale. Because it all comes back to where you put your half steps between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. And following from that, you get the structure of having the thirds major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. A major third on the 1, the 4, and the 5, and a minor third on the 2, the 3, the 6, and the 7. The thing with the guitar is that we can play thirds up on a string, but we can also play them from one string to another. So if I would go for the C and I want to reach the E, instead of going from here, I go across. So this was playing thirds from the G string to the B string. So that is one shape that we need to know. A major third looks like this, a minor third looks like this. But when we play on 2 strings that are tuned in fourths, like let's say the A and the D, then my C is here and my E is here, so that's the major third. And the minor third looks like this. And I get major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, major. And the beauty of this is that we can play them harmonically, like sounding them at the same time. Okay, which is something we use in all kinds of music. So now we know this much about the major scale. The half steps have to be between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. And if I want to play thirds in the major scale, it goes major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. And a major third is built up of 2 whole steps. A minor third is made up of a whole step and a half, or a half step and a whole step. And I encourage you to practice those thirds, not just the way we had it in the exercise, but also harmonically, where you use them as what they say double stops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.